Hey everybody, welcome to Crypto Kid TV. Today we discuss Bitcoin price prediction, Trump pardons Digital Silk Road founder Ross Ulbricht, who has served more than 10 years in federal prison on a double life sentence. So we have a lot of exciting things to discuss. I think this is great. I'm going to give you guys like a history of Digital Silk Road and some background into how I got into Bitcoin. But before we do that, let's first check out all the different prices of the markets. Let's first start out with Bitcoin. Bitcoin is up today on a Friday, up $1,876 to the price of $105,825. Once again, Bitcoin is currently trading at $105,825. Okay, and let's see where Ethereum is. Ethereum should be up right now. Ethereum is up $29 to the price of $3,370. So I would expect that the S&P and Dow Jones are doubly high, and I stand corrected. The S&P is down $20.25 to the price of $66,132. That is currently S&P is trading at $6,132. There's still time left in the market, so we should see S&P 500 finish in the black. That means it'll recover those losses. Right now, it's probably just still clearing out any of the profit takers. And then, so Dow Jones should be up as well. It's the wrong tab. Here we go. And once again, I stand corrected. Dow Jones Industrial Average is down $160 to the price of $44,404. Once again, we still have a few hours left in the market, so I do believe that both the S&P 500 and the Dow Jones Industrial Average will close today, Friday, in the black. And if not, they still will be taken into the black through overnight trading. Overall, market sentiment is extremely positive. And for anyone that is new to this podcast, if you're just following, this podcast is for people 18 to 50 years old. Maybe you're middle class, upper middle class, maybe you're upper class. You have money, but you want to get into this crypto game. And you've been hearing a lot of scams of different crap coins that are out there, the pump and dump syndrome, which is it's a fever actually that's spreading like wildfire. This podcast is for you. We give honest, objective information and assessments on our views on cryptocurrency. Nothing I'm saying is financial advice. However, I have over 32 years experience investing in the stock market, commodities market, and now cryptocurrencies. And just to give you some of my credentials, in 2019, I graduated from Howard University, and my master's thesis was Bitcoin, blockchain technology, and secure hash algorithms, published by ProQuest. And you could go online and you could actually get a copy of that. Let's move on now to this exciting news. Like this guy, Ross Ulbricht, he was a visionary and a pioneer. I actually did go on Digital Silk Road, and some of the things that were available were illegal. You could buy human organs, you could buy crystal meth, you could buy heroin, you could also buy barbiturate, just illegal drugs, and you could purchase that. I have an animal that wants to go outside, so please let him out. And this was in 2013. I had a friend that was on Digital Silk Road, and he knew that I've been trying to market products on the internet for more than 10 years. And he told me about Digital Silk Road and that I need to get on there, and it was easy. And I went on there and I saw all the products that were available, and I was a bit concerned because These products were blatantly illegal at the federal level, at the state level, at every level. And I was a bit nervous, but I still began the process of creating an account, but I didn't finish my account. I needed to start a way to do the Bitcoin transfers, and I hadn't got to that. And because I wanted to do my due diligence and do research, because at the time I was living in Washington, D.C. from the period of 2009 to 2019. And I didn't want the feds knocking at my door, when you can buy cocaine and illicit drugs. So, with that, I was very cautious. And then within 4 weeks of me trying to start my Silk Road account, the FBI indicted the founder, Ross Ulbricht. And and from my understanding, the reason why he got a life sentence is because he got 2 life sentences. And it's because that whoever the FBI informant was and whoever the members of the FBI that were seeking him, he actually put a hit out, an assassination, and he posted it on Digital Silk Road for the price of in exchange for Bitcoin. And that's what really, you may think this guy's evil. He's just a young kid that figured out this way to do what people are already doing on the streets. And then he found this currency, Bitcoin, that couldn't be traced. So that's a hack. And then I'm not sure how the research was done that exposed him, but I think like a girlfriend, somebody close to him turned him in, and he hired that person. So with that, instead of me speculating, let me do the research and pull this up. Ross Ulbricht. I'm just, I'm going to do a Wikipedia. I'm just going to go on Wikipedia and tell you what they say about him. It only existed for 2 years. So Ross Ulbricht formed Silk Road, and it went from 2011 until his arrest in 2013 when I found out about it. He's been in prison for almost 12 years, from 2013 to 2025. Let's see. And it does say some criminals use the website to sell narcotics and other illegal products, but they were selling human organs. You could even buy a kidnapped child. That's how crazy it was that you could do that. And let's find out what he was indicted for. He was convicted of engaging in a continuing criminal enterprise distributing narcotics by means of the internet. He didn't do it personally. He just created a website that facilitated it. Conspiracy to commit money laundering. So they're saying from him changing his from money to Bitcoin, you couldn't trace it. So they hit him with money laundering on that. Conspiracy to traffic fraudulent identity documents, and conspiracy to commit computer hacking. He was sentenced to double life in prison plus 40 years without the possibility of parole. And because let's get into, because I remember that. See, so I don't know how they were able to give him double life, but I do know that towards the end he did. Now what it is they couldn't probably convict him, but I know he was charged with, let's see. Okay, here we go. The arrest and trial. So the FBI seized a server in Iceland. I don't know how they were able to internationally get that. So the FBI arrested him at the Glen Park branch of the San Francisco Public Library because that's how he was getting access to the internet. So they could, okay, here it is right here. So federal prosecutors alleged that Ulbricht had paid $730,000 in murder for hire deals targeting at least 5 people because they purportedly threatened to reveal the Silk Road enterprise. Prosecutors believe no contracted killing actually occurred. Ulbricht was not charged in his trial in New York federal court with murder for hire, but evidence was introduced at trial supporting the allegations. So they gave him life sentences. So that means that it's very likely that some of these people were murdered and they could not, because it was paid for in Bitcoin, they could not trace that. They could not produce evidence. So they saw that their case was weak, but they did during trial show evidence that implied he was capable of doing that. And in Maryland, they did charge him, but he wasn't convicted. And they charged him with, in Maryland, on a single murder for hire charge, alleging that he contracted to kill one of his employees, a former Silk Road moderator. That Silk Road moderator would be an FBI agent that infiltrated and became an admin on the site. And that's how, so he was just sloppy. If he wasn't that sloppy, he probably would not have been caught. So there is evidence that he at least contracted and engaged in. He definitely put the ad on Digital Silk Road, murder for hire, and for the certain 5 people, they couldn't prove anything. So they knew they had weak cases, including Maryland. But what they're doing is they indicted him in Maryland for placing an ad under the alias username Altoid for a murder for hire of a previous Silk Road admin who was an FBI agent who infiltrated the website, and then they dropped the charge because they didn't have enough evidence. But it's very likely that other people were murdered, and the FBI just didn't have the evidence for that. And but they did introduce evidence in his New York trial that implied that he was at least capable. So as a roundup, I'm just going to round this all up so you guys can understand what had happened. So this young guy, Ross Ulbricht, I mean, he was a brilliant guy with a great idea. He came up with how to do what people are already doing on the street. And he had a server in a foreign country, and he was transferring you can't trace Bitcoin, so you could purchase money, get a username on the website, and then the exchange would happen with Bitcoin wherever it was authorized. What had happened is an FBI agent infiltrated the website, gained his trust, and became an admin on the website. At that point, they were able to observe the transactions that were going on. Other employees threatened him, Ross Ulbricht, to expose what he was doing. And so as a result, he posted murder for hires for at least 5 former employees. One of them was a FBI agent who had gained admin privileges. And then when he was indicted for distributing drugs. He didn't do any of these things. What he did is he created a platform that facilitated the ability to distribute drugs. And he was seen as the mastermind, which is very likely. It's difficult to understand how they were able to indict him. I mean, you can indict him, but to convict him, because they just didn't have enough evidence. But they had a willingness by the jury pool to convict him. And then he was given double life sentence, an additional 40 years with no possibility of parole. And because of the egregious pardons by Joe Biden, Donald Trump said, I'm going to let this guy out. And he's pardoned. He's on the street. He can go back to a normal life. And so to me, regardless of the negative things that he clearly did by placing ads, murder for hire, on his website Silk Road, and I believe that was him. So I'm not personally disputing that he hired or placed ads for murder for hire. And I would believe that he probably completed the murder. He probably was able to complete transactions where people were murdered, and that the FBI and law enforcement just didn't have enough information to even indict them, so they couldn't even bring those up. But I believe some murder for hire did occur. I'm not ruling that out. I strongly believe that he was involved in some murder for hire plots that actually were executed and paid for. However, for what he was charged with and indicted with, they just didn't have enough evidence. And nevertheless, it's all over now. It's history. It can't be reversed. And he's a free man. And after 12, like me, I'm going to get involved in whatever he gets involved in. So let's toot the hoses because the man is out of prison, and let's give him the 21 gun Bitcoin salute. Woohoo! All right. And you can see I have my Mardi Gras necklace on. So with that, this is the Crypto Kid signing out right now. Thank you for joining us. I will be providing more information. I want to do more research on Silk Road founder Ross Ulbricht, but thank you for being here. And remember, the future is crypto.